All right. Hey, there's the result. There's the result, Vinny, of an incredible run last year for the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry, a replica. I don't think that's the actual thing, or maybe it is, of Steph Curry's ring for the 2022 World Champs. They did a great job. They didn't go to the limit in any of their playoff series. They were able to eliminate Memphis. Looked like Memphis had an advantage for a while, for a little bit. They were able to eliminate Boston. Looked like Boston had an advantage for a while. And here they are. Steph Curry, Finals MVP, is back. The core four back in action last night, taking on the Lakers. And Vinny, I know you were in the building. So before I tell you what I think of the Warriors that I saw last night, what was it like being there? What were your observations watching the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors?
Well, before we begin, props to Steph Curry for mentioning Brittany Griner on the biggest stage, mentioning that it's her birthday, mentioning that it's so many days since she's been unfairly incarcerated, using its platform in that way on that stage on that night. But as far as the basketball, aside from maybe some sloppy play, the same verse looks similar to the first. Like, They look like a team that knows each other, that's maybe a little bit better, where your young players are ready to play. James Wiseman, ready to play. Jonathan Kuminga, a little bit older, a little bit more mature. Yeah, Klay Thompson's going to, slow walk it into it. Draymond Green's probably going to slow walk it. But they look like the same formidable Golden State Warriors. I'm a little more interested in how we view that team on the other side, because winning is boring. Winning is boring. Yeah. But we can go there. They put it like this. To me, they look like a team that's not going to go to the distance with Memphis or anybody else. To me, there's only one threat to Golden State this entire season out west. That's the Clippers, a team I'm going to see tomorrow night against these same Los Angeles Lakers. Like, that's the only thing for me. But as far as from a champion standpoint, from the arrogance of a champion, from the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green stuff, that stuff seems to bother everybody else. Whatever issues they have, and I don't believe that these issues have been, washed under the, swept under the rug or anything like that. They just know how to put that stuff to the side and for 48 minutes, figure it out and kick your butt. And don't get me wrong, that's not a hard task when you're playing against the Lakers, but the champs know how to be the champs on a given night.
And man, I'm convinced they didn't do this on purpose. What they're going through right now did not happen intentionally, but it's still a beautiful thing. And I think we talked about it last time, Vinny, you were on, that the Lakers wish, but the Warriors have gone into that sweet space where they got veteran players who are still champions and still very productive, and they got young players who can contribute. And they got that nice little mix where they're not too old, they're not too young. The old players are not going out, the young players haven't arrived yet. They're right there where they got a championship window with this mix, maybe for one more year, possibly two. Mm-hmm. But you look at it, like Draymond's probably a little bit worse. Klay Thompson's a little bit worse. Steph Curry's the same. Jordan Poole's getting better. Andrew Wiggins is getting better. Even though he's been in the league for a long time, he's getting better. He's got, any kind of baggage, any kind of and that's what I was going to say. Like any kind of psychological baggage that he had, you're the number one overall pick, you haven't lived up to your potential, or you've never won. He doesn't have to hear that anymore. He's got a new contract. Jordan Poole's got a new contract. So they're in a pretty good space. The only question is, okay, dynamics. Like, how do they work in Wiseman? Does Draymond start tripping because Poole's got that contract and Wiggins has got a contract, and he's got to be in a position, Draymond I'm talking about, he's got to be in a position to figure out, does he activate his player option, or does he walk away? Does he read the writing on the wall and say, my time has passed here? That's the only thing. It's really psychobabble stuff, but it's, in terms of like getting it done on the court, I really don't see anything different with the Warriors.
They're in a sweet spot. they're in a sweet spot that very, very few franchises find themselves in. Even as champions, they find themselves in. If you think about it, dynasties are destroyed oftentimes from within. It's usually like the internal dynamic that you referred to. It's usually not so much the aging, but it's the disease of me. It's wanting more. It's, now in the days of, free agency, you look at LeBron James in Miami, they could have gone to the finals, 7 or 8 more times had LeBron stayed in Miami after 2014. You look at Shaq and Kobe. Now, I don't think that duo had as much of a shelf life as people like to think that it did, but it was destroyed from within. It was not destroyed by, shall we say, natural causes. You know what I mean? Like, here's the thing, right. And I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one because, you have such an affinity for Boston, even though you claim you don't. The Warriors, to me,
I love Boston.
The Warriors,
I love Boston.
You do. I know you do. The rare black man that loves Boston. Your face is
not
on,
rare at all.
Like it's like in the Boston airport. It's like,
I wish.
Hey,
come on,
brother who loves Boston. I love Papa Joe.
Come on,
that's your face.
Hey, come on. Hey, at least give me that. Give me that. I'm out here caping up for Boston. Yeah, put me on Logan Airport. Yes, I'm available.
You are.
Put me on some signage there.
But my point was, remember the Celtics of Bird, McHale, and Parrish? They were really close to threading this sweet spot when you drafted Reggie Lewis. And the year before that, or 2 years before that, or year before that, actually.
Yeah, Len Bias. Yep.
You drafted Len Bias. Len Bias, of course, died, 2 days after the draft. Reggie Lewis had that terrible heart ailment that, caused his untimely demise. But they were really close to threading that fine needle of maximizing what you have with your existing players, with your guys that's older, and augmenting them with younger players that can help sort of bridge the gap. Now, they didn't do it. So, but you got to see the model. You got to see at least the goal of it. And I feel like Golden State, with Poole more than anybody else, because I know there's a lot of people that our buddy Carn Phillips does not think that Poole is worth all the hubbub, because of, he wasn't a highly touted high school guy and everything else. But he's improved so dramatically over the course of his career, over the course of a short time. He's someone that can help you bridge the gap. That's not crazy glue. Like, he's somebody that is a part of a core until if Kuminga becomes a superstar, if Wiseman develops into a superstar.
That's right.
And then in that meantime, you got that connective tissue. You've got culture. Now, Michael Holley, what type of culture are you encouraging in Golden State? What type of culture are you promoting there? But if nothing else, they know that dudes get paid and they know that they play to win. Now, there's a lot of other things that might not be so pretty, but you do at least know that there's a commitment to winning. There's consistency in coaching in the front office, and there's leadership and stability with at least Stephen Curry.
I hope, Vinny, when we continue to advance in this business, let's say 15 years from now, 20 years from now, and the first year salary of a journalist, of a star rising journalist, is more than anything that we made. I hope we don't become those bitter guys and be like, man, I can't believe they're paying these young guys, this amount of money, as might be happening right now with Jordan Poole making $35 million a year. And if I'm not mistaken, I wasn't there last night like you were, but I think he came off the bench. Like, there's some old school guys be like, hold on, he's making $35 million a year and he doesn't even start. Are you kidding me? But that's the dynamic that you have to deal with, and it's what you're talking about. It's easy to get destroyed from within if you have somebody who helped start the dynasty, helped put those fingerprints in there, in the concrete. You're like, well, okay, when we were winning championships, this dude was in high school. Now he's making $35 million a year, and they trying to get me out of here. I don't know. But anyway, to this point.
Hold on. You brought that up, and it's just going to be short.
No.
You brought that up like 20 years from now. How about right now some of these kids coming in making more than we made when we started off, and they tell us, man, they only paying me X and X amount. And I'm looking around like.
And you're like, like, what?
And
Like,
you're complaining, and you have to check it. You got to check yourself though, because they only know what they know, and you only know what you know. And I will never come across as an old hater. And clearly, from the looks, I don't look old. So when people come and bring, say stuff to me, they think that I am their peer when I might be close to 15 years older than them. Like, I don't have the Michael Smith hairline, but I do have the black don't crack. So that a lot of times brings you
the magical Smith
a lot of times
hairline.
that brings you that is illegal. Michael Smith's hairline is illegal. It is in the hairline Hall of Fame. Okay, I'm in the Hall.
But we have to be there.
I'm in the Hall of.
But Vinny, when it happens, when he starts to lose it, he's going to have such an identity crisis. We have to be there for him as good friends, because he might crack. He might just crumble when that hairline has been there for him all those years. When it starts to go, when it starts to retreat, I think he may.
I think once you cross a certain threshold, you good. Okay. He's coming up to that. So. He's like at the Tom Brady minus not having a happy home stage of a Hall of Fame hairline. Once you reach a certain point, you playing with house money. That hairline ain't going nowhere.
Well, speaking of house money, here's Steve Kerr, championship coach last night, talking about his team and this dynamic that we brought up a few minutes ago.
But how would you compare the depth you potentially have on this team to past teams?
I think it reminds me of 14-15, although the depth is younger. But, 14-15, we had games where we didn't play Sean Livingston. We didn't play Leandro Barbosa. They both had a couple of stretches in that season where they either played very limited minutes or didn't play at all. We had, really major depth at the center spot with Mo Spates and David Lee and Bogut and Festus and Draymond. So it reminds me a lot of just the talent level. That team was veteran. We had veterans. This team, it's young guys, but the talent is really obvious.
Man, going back thinking, yeah, they do have great depth. And I keep wondering, and I know it's only one game. It's only one game, Vinny. Like last year, I was in on Kuminga. I was like, okay, here comes Kuminga. He's going to be most improved player in the 2022-23 season. He looked all right last night. But if that happens, now wait a minute. If the light goes on for him, forget about your Clippers. Forget about the Clippers. Nobody in the West will be able to touch him if Kuminga just gets it this year.
Oh, you're not wrong. And here's another part that I think we lightly glossed over. Andrew Wiggins looks so friggin' comfortable in his own skin right now. Like, we went from a player who people thought, and I will say this because I wrote it and I said it when they made the trade, D'Angelo Russell for the pick and Andrew Wiggins, I thought it was legit in that order. I thought you were making the trade for the pick and you had to take Andrew Wiggins. I did not think that the Golden State Warriors had some magic juice and you too shall be healed, because Andrew Wiggins looked last night like the second best player on the floor. I know LeBron was there. I know Anthony Davis was there, and the stats and everything else looks a certain way.
Good transition.
But Andrew Wiggins looked every bit like the second best player on the floor last night. He did the little things, and then when it was time to square up on the dude that traded him, never forget, LeBron traded Andrew Wiggins when he first got drafted by Cleveland for Kevin Love and everything else, and you can debate whether that was the best move or not. I thought Andrew Wiggins as a perimeter defender would have been better for LeBron than Kevin Love. They won a championship anyway, so we're not going to debate that. But Andrew Wiggins stared down the dude that traded him on like some consecutive possessions during small critical points when the Lakers were making a minor comeback and dotted that I and didn't think twice about it. You talk about Kuminga. Can we talk about Andrew Wiggins, a guy that's now going to be underpaid?
Yeah. Well, not just Andrew Wiggins and not just Kuminga. They got a lot. Okay, the Warriors have a lot, as Steve Kerr mentioned. They got a lot of depth. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.